In the next few minutes, we're going to look at St. Joseph under the title of Joseph Most Prudent. So it might help to begin with a definition of prudence. And for this, we can go to Aristotle and the great St. Thomas Aquinas, who say that prudence is right reason concerning things to be done. So prudence is a cardinal virtue that perfects the intellect in regard to action. Now, a very important part of prudence is seeking counsel, because we know when we consult our own experience that often we don't know what the right thing is to do, and we have to deliberate between certain choices. Should I do this or should I do that? Is this right? Is this wrong? So we need to consult the wise advice, the clear-mindedness of others whom we trust and who we know have clear judgment on these kinds of things. Often we can get stuck on knowing what to do, either because we're emotionally invested in that situation and we can't think aright, or we just don't have that experience to know what is the right or wrong thing we should be doing. So when we look at St. Joseph, we have an incredible model of prudence in every way. So St. Joseph is an exemplar for us of this cardinal virtue. When we look at his life, which we don't really know much about, and we don't hear anything personally from his lips, it is lit up by the virtue of prudence. And just to take a few examples for our reflection from the Gospel of St. Matthew, we can look at this in a sequence. So he finds out that from Mary that she's pregnant. And what does he do? He considers what to do about the situation. Then an angel appears to tell him to not be afraid to take Mary as his wife. So we see him stop and reflect after this news, and no doubt he's praying ardently about what to do. Again, we see him counseled in a dream by an angel of the Lord to flee to Egypt and stay there until he's told what to do next. And again, still in the Gospel of St. Matthew, after Herod dies, St. Joseph is again visited by an angel of the Lord and told to go to Israel. And he's again warned in a dream and takes the Holy Family to Nazareth. So we see his prudence as constantly fruitful, as he's guiding, protecting, nurturing, and leading the Holy Family. And this is a real example to us of what happens when we're really praying and striving to live in right relationship with God and listening, often through the counsel of others, to what he's asking us to do. So we look at St. Joseph as governing a divine household with exceptional prudence. He is in a living, dynamic, profound relationship with his God, and he is aware of his role, perhaps not in all its details, in salvation history. And at the very least, he's aware of his great responsibility in having the Mother of God and God himself, the Son of God, in his care, entrusted to him. He is indeed the guardian of the Redeemer. And to be a guardian of anything, anyone, you have to have prudence if you're going to be a good one. To be a guardian of the Redeemer, you have to have extraordinary prudence. So we see in St. Joseph a man whose prudential decision-making is animated by an incredibly deep prayer life, an incredibly vital obedience and love to God. Now, many popes have written about St. Joseph, and I'd like to just end this reflection with some words from, not a pope, but a cardinal, Herbert Cardinal Vaughan, who wrote a work in 1950 called Who is St. Joseph? And there are many gems in this work, but there's a particular part where he calls Joseph a friend to the people. And so I'd just like to finish up with his reflection on that. He says, "Truly, in all things, Saint Joseph is the people's friend. Go then to Joseph and do all that he shall say to you. Go to Joseph and obey him as Jesus and Mary obeyed him. Go to Joseph and speak to him as they spoke to him. Go to Joseph and consult him as they consulted him. Go to Joseph and honour him as they honoured him. Go to Joseph and be grateful to him as they were grateful to him. Go to Joseph and love him as they loved him and as they love him still. However much you love Joseph, your love will always fall short of the extraordinary love which Jesus and Mary bore to him. On the other hand, the love of Joseph necessarily leads us to Jesus and Mary. He was the first Christian to whom it was said, 'Take the child and his mother.' This led a father of the church to say, 'You will always find Jesus with Mary and Joseph.' Saint Joseph, most prudent, pray for us."